Let's start though with Starbucks, Ryan.
Yes, some huge news on the union front. So Starbucks announced yesterday that it has reached an agreement with Starbucks United, which is the union that has been going around and organizing Starbucks coffee shops around the country. It has been, one of the, most intense kind of battles between labor and capital that we've seen in the United States. Schultz, the CEO, the founder of the company, just despises this union with every fiber of his body.
He takes it so personally.
He does. And what we learned from the American Prospect, actually, is that these negotiations began after, and I'd reported this in The Intercept, that Starbucks decided it was going to sue its union for using a Starbucks logo while opposing the war in Gaza. So all of this actually started with the Starbucks workers' protest against the war in Gaza. That lawsuit then led to some negotiations between the union and the company. And over the last week, as the Prospect reports, those negotiations evolved into actual talks about the union itself. And so the result, and from what we're hearing, is that this is actually potentially more significant than it seems. The result is that there's going to be an agreement on an organized and fair process toward forming unions in Starbucks coffee shops. And Starbucks is going to negotiate collectively with all of those shops, rather than what they've been doing is kind of individually trying to crush every union. And what I think this reveals is that Starbucks is recognizing, A, they have a huge image problem in the wake of the Gaza war.
Yes. Yeah.
And also that their workers are overwhelmingly in support of a union.
So it sounds like, Starbucks is one of the more interesting union tribes from my perspective, just because it also affects it's hundreds of thousands of workers in the United States, basically on every street corner in major cities, and everyone's town at this point almost has a Starbucks, unless you're, lives in a pretty rural area. So there's just a lot going on with the dynamics culturally with Starbucks. There are people in major cities. One of the reasons, this was a great Jacobin interview from a couple of years ago, people felt like they were being forced to work like untrained social workers because of some of the new policies about bathrooms that have since been rescinded. But there's Starbucks workers have a very interesting, and I hate to use the word unique, but it is kind of a unique case to make for unionization.
Meanwhile, relatedly, a Mercedes plant in UAW, the workers there announced that more than 50% of them have signed cards asking to organize with the UAW. So the UAW is absolutely on fire, just like rolling up these plants. And whether they can actually turn just over 50% of cards into a union remains to be seen, but it shows extraordinary momentum. The IG Metall, which is maybe the biggest and strongest union in the world, a union in Germany, is going to pressure Mercedes and is pressuring Mercedes to be fair and to treat this union drive fairly. Meanwhile, of course, Chinese EV cars are threatening to destroy the entire American auto manufacturing industry. So we'll see if the UAW's kind of revival comes a little bit too late.
Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.
Help us build independent news and get the full show every morning at breakingpoints.com.